So yes people, welcome back to another video here on the J&M Football channel. So excuse my voice, I have been a little ill the last few days. I've got a cold, so my voice is a bit weird. So yeah, sorry about that. But today I've got like a different type of video, and I want to talk about like different types of scary kind of stats and statistics in professional football. So that's from mental health to wage, like boys in academies becoming pros and stuff like that. So if you're interested in stats like this, then be sure to stick till the end of the video. So I know this video like is going to have two reactions. One reaction is going to like demotivate people and say, oh no, it's impossible, oh no, it's not worth it. And then the other reaction, and the reaction I want to get out of you, is like this motivates you to work even harder because you know how tough it is, so you need to work that even more harder to make it to the top and to make enough money and to become a fully professional footballer. So I think I'm going to get these two different reactions, and I'm hoping I get the one which motivates you and makes you work even harder. So let's turn off my notifications and let's get into the video. So the first, I'll put in the description like where I found all these stats. So I did a little bit of research to like make sure these stats are correct and up to date and stuff like that. So all these stats I'm going to read out and talk about, they're all from like the last 5 to 10 years, and they're all about professional football. I got them from like good official sites, so I'm 99% sure they are like realistic and true. So the first statistic that I found very interesting was boys who enter an academy at the age of 9, less than half of 1% make it into the professional game or make a living from the game either. So that can be low-level professional and make enough money, or it can be high-level semi-pro and they make enough money to live off. So that's out of the boys who go into all these academies, Chelsea, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, like all these massive world-class academies, like the kids who go in at 9, 10 years old, 0.5% of all them boys are going to make it into the pro game. So that's less than 1%. So that just proves to you how difficult it is. And it also proves to you that going into a good academy at a young age doesn't guarantee you getting into professional football. Even though you're in probably the best setup, or one of the best setups, and you're in a good environment to get you into the professional game, this stat proves that it's still so difficult to make it to the top, even though you're in academy from a young age. This is a stat that I found which is just regarding youth football and academy football in the UK and England. So that is, out of the 1.5 million children who are playing organised youth football in England, so that's 1.5 million children, kids, girls, boys. Out of that 1.5 million, only 180 will make it into the Premier League. So I know, yes, the Premier League is like the elite of the elite. That's the top level in English football. But out of 1.5 million kids, and probably all of these kids' dream is to make it to the Prem, to become a professional footballer and play at the highest level possible. And out of that 1.5 million kids, children, boys and girls, only 180 will make it into the Premier League. And that 180 out of 1.5 million, that's a success rate of just 0.012%. So that's a tiny percentage. This is a stat that I heard from Arsene Wenger, so the ex-Arsenal manager. He said a stat about 76% of the people who had a contract at a top club between the ages of 16 and 20, by the age of 21, 67% aren't in football no more. Out of the people who have contract at top clubs, so this is top elite clubs, between the ages of 16 and 20, 67% of them people aren't in football at 21. So that means you can have a contract at a top club, Premier League, Championship, Bundesliga, Liga, whatever, at the age of 20. And then at 21, you can be no longer in football. Now, to me, that's just crazy. But apparently, it's a thing that happens a lot. So even having a contract at a top club or pro club from the ages of 16 to 20, that does not guarantee you a long, successful career in football. Even if you have a contract at 20 years old and you're playing in the Prem, that still means you have to work hard for your next contract and the contract after that. So no matter how good you get, where you have a contract, where you're playing, the hard work and your work ethic can never stop. You always need to be working to win that next contract, that next move. So yeah, that just proves no matter where you are, you still have to keep on working to win that next contract and to keep on improving. So now these next few stats are going to be about mental health in professional football. And mental health issues are becoming more and more not popular, that's not the right word, but like more and more talked about in football, because a lot of pro footballers from the elite levels are coming out saying, oh, I've suffered with mental health issues myself. There's a longer stat as you can read now, but I'm just going to go through them quickly. So there was this test among professional footballers, like a 4-week test, stuff like that, and they went from 4 weeks to 12 months, and just seeing how their mental health was, and 9% of them suffered with like alcohol abuse, or had like they would like, not alcoholics, but they turned to alcohol in tough times, and up to 38% had problem with anxiety and depression, and that's a big number. 38%, that's every third. So that in a team, so you have a team of 20 players, almost 40% of them players are going to suffer with anxiety or depression. So that's almost half of them players are going to have some sort of mental health illness. And I know mental health, like, it can be tough in football because it's a tough place to work, it's a tough place to be, because you have to train hard every day, you have to be on top every day, you're under pressure all the time to perform, to play well, to win points, to win games for your team, for your club. And if you're not in top form one day, then you're out of the team for the weekend. If you have one bad game, then like everyone's on you, what's wrong, what are you doing? Like, you're under pressure constantly to be at your top level and just to perform the best of your ability. And I know like that's normal in every other job. Like if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, you have to perform well at your job. But in football, especially at the top elite levels, you have all these people watching you, millions of people watch you every week, week in, week out. And if you start making mistakes or playing badly, then people's heads are going to turn. They're going to start talking about you, which obviously doesn't help your performance on the field. Now here's a quick stat that isn't just about football, but it's about elite professional athletes, and that is that 35% of elite athletes suffer from a mental health illness or issue. 35%, as 1 in 3. So every third athlete suffers with some form of mental health illness, which is, again, that's a massive number. That's huge. So now the next few stats I came across was about money in professional football. I'm going to sneeze. What got me surging into wage and money was when you think about football and footballers' wages, you think of like Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, the people who are at the top of the game, and obviously the top earners. And unfortunately, in football, like that's the 0.1% of all pros. When you think of professional football, you think of like the big houses, many cars, the amazing lifestyle, obviously getting huge amounts of money week in, week out just for kicking a ball. But the fact is, it's not as simple as that, and it's not like that for many in professional football. 14% of all professional footballers, so this is just professional, this is not semi-pro, amateur, this is just professional footballers. So 14.2% make more than $8,001 per month. And now $8,000 per month is a sweet wage, and that's not bad. But that's only 14%, or just over 14% of all professional footballers make over $8,000 American dollars per month. Next one was 11.5% makes between $4,001 to $8,000 American dollars per month. So that's between $4,000 and $8,000 per month. Again, that's a good wage. That's a good amount of money to have every month. If you're getting $4,000 a month, you're looking at, it's not amazing, but it's a decent wage, and obviously you can live off that. 14.5% make between $2,001 to $4,000 per month. This is still like okay amounts of money, and in a lot of countries, this is a very good wage. Like I know, because personally I live in Serbia, and if someone was making $2,000 a month in Serbia, they would be happy. That's a good wage in Serbia. And I know in a lot of different countries as well, that's a very, very good wage. Now again, 14.5% make between $1,001 and $2,000. So again, in some countries, this is still a very good wage, and a wage that you can live off. I know obviously in some other countries, this wage wouldn't be so amazing, and it would be tight, like coming to the end of the month with bills and stuff like that. But this is this is obviously coming to the lower earners in professional football. And this is the biggest stat. 45.3% make less than £1,000 per month. Yes, that's 45.3%. That's almost half of all professional footballers across the whole world. They make less than $1,000 per month. Now, 1,000 US, let me just get the exact 1,000 in euros. So that is €824 per month. Or if we're going to go to pounds, that is £719 per month. £719 per month is not a great wage. That's a wage that you would be making like working part-time or like as a student or something like that. So that's a crazy that almost half of all professional footballers make less than £1,000 per month. But again, in some countries, making £1,000 a month is a good wage. Like here in Serbia, like in the areas that I live, making £1,000 a month is a decent wage, and you can live like okay in Serbia in some places for £1,000 a month. But obviously, if you're gonna go to England, say for example, because obviously I'm from England, I know like the prices and whatnot. Living off under 1,000 or living off £700 in England, that would be a tight fit. That'd be a very tight fit, because like accommodation a cheap accommodation is gonna get you £400 or £500 a month. That's just accommodation, no food, no transportation, nothing. So £700 a month in England is going to be a very, very tight. So that's a very crazy stat. Obviously, like you're going to have all like the smaller countries, like obviously England and Spain, Italy, where the big top leagues are, they're going to bring these averages up. Then you go to the smaller countries where the leagues aren't so famous and there's not so much money, and they're going to bring all these averages way, way down. So that's almost half of professional footballers make less than £1,000 or $1,000 per month. I did some like adding up stuff here, like the average length, and I did some research on this, and from what I read, the average length of a footballer's career is around 8 to 10 years. Now, obviously, players can play for 20 years, players can play for 5 years. This is just like a rough average that I got after doing some research, adding up stuff like that. Obviously, players can get injured after 2 years, 3 years, or players can have a really long career, start at 16, finish at 41. So like, this is just a rough average of the length of a footballer's career. It's around 8 to 10 years. So say you've played for 10 years and you were in the lowest wage percentage, so you were getting less than $1,000 a month, or in this example I just said you made $1,000 per month. So that's 10 years of say $1,000 a month. That's $120,000 over a whole career, which seems like a big chunk of money, but after 10 years that's not a huge amount of money. Like players are making this in a week, obviously in the top leagues. The 12 months in a year, 12,000 a year, times that by 10, $120,000 in 10 years. Many players only sign 9-10 month contracts a year, like obviously in the lower leagues and stuff. So that's up to 3 months a year of no wage, of no money. So again, like I did that average, that 10 years of say 1,000 a month, $120,000. But I did that if you got a 12-month contract. So say you get a 9-month contract, that's only 9 months of $1,000. That's $9,000 a year over 10 years. That's $90,000 over a 10-year career. That's not enough money. Well, it's not a big amount of money to live off, and it's certainly not a big enough money to save money or invest and like buy a house and stuff like that. So as you can see, for many professional footballers, it's not the amazing lifestyle and the huge amounts of money. A lot of players, they play for 10 years and then after they have to go into a different sort of career, coaching, anything. Like a lot of players go back to school and study a new career, become, I don't know, lawyers, doctors, whatever. Like, it's rare for a footballer to not have to work again after their footballing career. So I just wanted to share all these stats and stuff with you just to prove that it is a tough place to work. It is a tough type of work, a tough place to work in, and it's nowhere near as easy as other people think. Obviously, people think of the top earners, top elite teams, clubs, leagues, and not of the lower level professional footballers who are making much less money than the Neymars and Messi's and stuff like that. If you guys did enjoy this video, if you did, please drop this video a like so it helps push our content to more and more people. Obviously, subscribe if you're interested in our future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.